I think the most important thing for us to start talking about is the importance of fiber. Fibers can be called prebiotics because they are feeding the gut microbiome. We have varieties of different fibers and from different sources. What I recommend based on science is diversity of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes that contain all of those fibers. Those fibers are constantly feeding some of those important bacteria and reducing inflammatory markers and processes. That's the first step I would say to everyone starting seeing what kind of fibers for you, what your body can tolerate and how much your body can tolerate, and then build up to what the recommendation is between 25 to 30 grams a day. The other thing is the diversity. There's a very interesting study that shows people who consume more than 30 different plant foods per week have much more diverse gut microbiome. Thinking about the rainbow concept, I think that is an easy way to remind ourselves in terms of diversity. That's the first thing I would say, high fiber diet, eat a plant-rich diet. The second thing is cutting back on processed and sugary foods, limiting foods that are high in added sugar, refined grains are something that we should refrain from. Unhealthy fats like saturated fats, especially animal saturated fats, artificial additives, which is everywhere in our Western diet, sugary drinks and candies, even white bread or brown bread, we see artificial additives. We know from a study the effect of high fat and high sugar diet in our gut microbiome producing harmful compounds, which is the opposite of the whole grain, high fiber, unprocessed, and those harmful compounds linked to what we call TMAO or brain chain amino acid that can actually worsen insulin resistance. Emulsifiers and additives in processed food we know are linked to gut integrity, which is the gut barrier. So impairing that gut barrier, which leads to leaky gut. I run a clinical practice in nutrition, and I always say and frame that, how about we start crowding out all the bad things and with the good ones, filling up your plates with whole grains, beans, quinoa, roasted veggies, and good proteins, and eating less of the processed foods. I don't like saying we should never eat any processed food. We can't avoid it sometimes. I think it's important to make sure we actually have that kind of crowding our plates with good stuff,
I love
leaving space for the junk and the distraction of the unhealthy stuff or processed food.
That's such a good image to make it so full of the good stuff that there's no more room left. I love that.
I think using creativity in creating your dishes, using colors, using textures and flavors, and being creative in the kitchen, it's another art you can actually create. I think that is something quite fascinating to work with as well.